Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Raad Life. If you caught the last episode that we had, we talked about how the first few weeks of this coronavirus situation seemed kind of manageable and that people were in a mindset of hunkering down, making sure they had food in the house, making sure they had cleaning supplies, all this stuff. And it was you could see the end in sight. As dramatic, as emotional as it was, we had this end in sight in mind of the beginning of April. Well, here we are, and now we're being told it's another 30 days. And then it potentially, in some states, they're even saying like middle of May. And then there's sort of we come out of it because we get the coast is clear siren, and then we now have to emotionally readjust. And that's going to take a while. So what has happened, I think, now that we have entered into April, is what seemed to be discomforting and unnecessary kind of distress that we're being put through, but manageable, all of a sudden became really real. And so I wanted to bring somebody on to talk about that because she is experiencing an increase in people basically seeking her out for guidance. And so I'm going to bring in Eva Vennari and basically have a discussion with us. I mean, what is she encountering? Because under normal circumstances, we are seeking help mentally, emotionally, but we are now being really, really challenged and stressed out. So let me bring her in. Eva, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you?
Doing great.
Are you safe, first of all?
Yeah. Yes.
You have enough toilet paper?
Yes, safe. Ample.
You're ample. Okay, I just needed to make sure, you're handled. Didn't need to send you a dispatch or an Uber toilet paper run or anything like that. You're good. Okay.
I'm good.
Paper towels? You're good with paper towels? Okay, just kidding.
Thumbs up.
There's a part of it that's just almost funny as heck, right? It's like, I don't know. I said this joke, and it's just one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Costco, which takes back everything, refused to take back toilet paper.
Yep.
There is a God in this world, right? I mean, it's like you hoarded on toilet paper. Well, Costco, that takes back everything, said no to you when you said, I have more than I think I need.
Yeah.
It's healthy. Everybody's watching. It's nothing. There's nothing in here. It's just kombucha. But what I said before I brought you on is, last couple of weeks, the first part of this whole crisis situation, we all hunkered down. I was actually very amazed of how quick the resilience that people had. Made sure that we were stocked up. We were all good. We were in bunker mentality, but we knew there was an end in sight, at least what seemed to be an end in sight, which was the beginning of April. And the added layer of emotionally connecting with Easter and a rebirth and, all that good stuff was probably playing in our subconscious. And now we are being told, not so soon, part. You got another 30 days, maybe 8 weeks. Who knows how we feel like in May. If we give you the coast is clear, we all know that it's going to take us longer to ramp up. Add to that the layer of emotional and real life impact of losing jobs, waiting for a shoe to fall. And what you were telling me is that you're seeing an increase.
Yeah.
Like a spike, really, all of a sudden, of people seeking help in how to navigate this on an emotional level and a psychological level. So before we start down that path, give people a little bit of background about you. And I'm gonna throw up your company logo here in a minute. But basically, tell people what you do, give them a little background, and then let's talk about this, because I think it's a very real thing for people. This is not just sort of, oh, well, we'll just, pull yourself by your bootstraps. You'll be fine. Who knows how long this lasts? Who knows, really?
Well, like you said, initially this was supposed to be a little temporary, and the shock of, we need to adjust is now settling in, and just getting to a place of feeling stable is difficult. It seems far off and a little bit too much of a reach for people. And this is where I find that my work has somehow been in the back of people's minds, and they're remembering me. Hey, Eva, you've been talking about this for the better part of a decade. Now we're really, really, really interested to find out what you do.
You were joking about that before we got on the air. Like, hey, they actually were paying attention. All of a sudden they remembered I was there.
Yeah, I have been interviewed more in the last 10 days than than accumulatively over the last 6 months. So it's been really interesting. And what it's transpiring is kind of my history of what I went through to get to this place where I could help. So, the living the life of constant upheaval, change. I raised both of my kids on my own from birth, divorced, moved from one career to another career to another career, trying to, take care of things as the IT bubble burst and as the construction,
Yeah.
boom also fell over. I had to look at how do I reinvent myself, and I've learned ways of coping with some serious changes. And along the way, I found what I really needed to do was fortify my body. And that led me to what I've been talking about. I do for a better part of a decade now, is mineral balancing. It's getting the body
Mhm.
to a place where it is so fortified that whatever we come across, whether it's a toxic metal, a chemical, a drug, a traumatic moment, like what we're all going through now, whatever
Yeah.
psyche, we get impacted with, fungus, bacteria, viruses, all of these things can be handled so much more easily if we have the body's immune system like a Fort Knox.
So talk about a little bit more about that for people who don't understand what you're talking about exactly.
Yeah, it's a new way of looking at, or I should say it's different, it's not new. This is ancient stuff. How the body really, really works, it's not what we've been told. Hint, hint. In other words, quite commonly, we find we have a symptom and that turns into a complaint. We take it to the appropriate doctor, and the doctor takes our blood and our intake and says, okay, you either have XYZ and you need to take this drug, ABC, or we don't know what's going on with you, and you're probably going to live with this chronic condition for the rest of your life. Here's an antidepressant. So that seems to be the way of it. I call it the hunt and kill method. It's the chase after a symptom and try to make it go away. It doesn't give us longevity of health, and that's what I found. So very early on, I had a cluster of symptoms that were diagnosable and yet still not quite the problem.
Mhm.
And I realized that the body doesn't heal in the way that I had been taught. We're not supposed to go after each individual thing. I had chronic fatigue. So what do you do for chronic fatigue? A number of things. Who knows? Anxiety. Well, you take anxiety medicine for that, or you meditate. Depression, same thing. Fibromyalgia. To this day, they say there's no cure for that. So all of these different things I was diagnosed as infertile. I had menopause at the age of 28. I had arthritis, told I was going to be in a wheelchair by the age of 35. That always raises eyebrows, by the way.
Right.
It's not a common thing to be considered aged or so old, have these experiences of an
At
older
35.
person
Mhm.
at younger than that. So at 20, I would say at 20, 28, I had full blown a lot of the issues. And I was faced with, well, either I live with it, which was becoming impossible. And that was part of the reason why I was turning over job after job, was because I couldn't handle being
Mhm.
productive. So that was a lot of it, and burning myself out. So I had to look for another way. How does the body really work? And something came into my brain. I don't know where it came from. It may have been something I read, but I just kept thinking this one thought. If you give the body what it needs, it will heal itself. And I just hung on to that. And I thought, okay, if medication is not necessarily the nutrition that the body needs, well, what is the method? How do I find out what that is? And it took me 16 years and thousands of dollars and lots of doctors to find out really the answer. And that's displacement. It's mineral displacement. So mineral balancing is something that you do by looking at what's chemically left over after making more you in your hair. So you eat, you drink, you breathe. Whatever sits against your skin all day long, you absorb in. There's no doorman
Mhm.
that says you can come in and you can't. It all goes in.
Mhm.
And your body makes more you, and whatever is left over ends up in your soft tissue, and that's your hair and your nails. So when you look at about an inch's worth of growth of your hair, you can then see quite clearly the relationship of minerals in your body that determines your immune system. How much of a Fort Knox are you? What are you made of? And that's where the juicy bits are. That's where we can really get down into telling what the body needs. Give it
So
that. and it
So how do you
reverses.
evaluate that? Like, I mean, I'm assuming that's different for every single person, right?
Yeah, the process is the same, and the end result is a balanced body that can resist, what we're going through now. But the solution has to be personalized. A one size fits all does not work in this case. Generic supplements don't work. Generic lifestyle habit changes don't work. It has to be, you have to get down. I have to get down into the daily life with the person and hold their hand through this process.
So
It can't be done any other way.
without getting into an uncomfortable personal space for you, but share a little bit of your own, like when you did this, what did you find that was basically, and then how did you basically compensate for it?
Yeah. How did I compensate for it? Meaning, how did
Well,
my life?
what did you find? Yeah, did you find was out of balance?
Oh,
That was, through this process of investigation.
yeah. So there's a misconception around what is found in a hair analysis, and oftentimes people will know a little bit about it, and they say something like, "Oh, that just tells me what I'm toxic in or what I'm lacking," and I have had to turn my answer into saying yes, and so much more. It's much more comprehensive. And for me, I found that I had some imbalances that are common to a lot of the clients that I work with. And that was, for me, it's copper toxicity with the calcium. Um, we call it a dumping. So too much calcium coming out of the body, which can be a problem for your bones. That's why I had
Mm-hmm.
arthritis. The copper issue created a zinc imbalance. Those two worked together, and that was causing a problem with my immune system and hypothyroidism and the infertility and problems with depression, anxiety, and insomnia. All of those things, they go together. So that's just the beginning. And it turned out I had mercury toxicity, iron toxicity, lead toxicity, aluminum toxicity, cadmium. So there were a bunch of things that we tested on the hair to find out what's going on. But generally speaking, you don't have to go after individual levels to get to that healthy state of being a Fort Knox, like I was talking about. You work at it from a holistic viewpoint. It's the whole body together. And
So,
that's what makes a difference.
so I mean, I'm curious, and I put this thing up because I found it on your website. And the website again is, it's the Elevate Institute, and it's the elevateinstitute.com. But I thought this was interesting because, I mean, a lot of people are probably like binging on podcasts right now. They're probably, if they're smart, they're listening to this. I know I just self-plugged myself, but they're reading blogs, but there's some truth to this. And I think a lot of people do this anyway, like even before the coronavirus. Podcasts were very popular, whether you're doing it on audiobooks or you're doing, Spotify, or a lot of people are doing the NPR. I mean, it's a convenient way of basically getting information. And if the content is quality content and the filter through which it's coming is something that you basically resonate with, then why not? I mean, that's as valid as thing as anything else. But the thing that really grabbed my attention is the top two words, because it speaks to what we're talking about. Because what you're referring to is sort of the traditional approach when it comes to wellness, which being involved in the spa industry, this is a word that's thrown around all the time. Wellness this, wellness that, but it's almost like, when it comes to recycling or being, environmentally friendly, and everybody says green, 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 green. At some point, it becomes greenwashing.
Yes.
Wellness has become a wellness washing, right?
Yeah.
Try
It's a
saying that
word.
10 times. Wellness washing.
It's lost its oomph, hasn't it? Yeah.
Right, but so the traditional medicine approach of dealing with the thing when it happens versus the preventiveness, and that preventiveness being custom tailored, literally bespoke tailored to you and your condition, that requires a really a commitment to find out, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So the thing that just struck me when you're talking about all these toxicities is that the first few weeks of this coronavirus thing, we all ran into the stores and we bought every astringent we could purchase, every chemical that is on the shelf. In fact, we bought things that we would never have even thought of touching with even like a 2-ply glove, because that was the only thing left on the shelf after everything that was more mild was purchased. And we figured we just diluted with water. And we basically, I saw my grandmother throw all that, like Lysol or borax on the floor, and we're just going to buy a whole bunch of those. We're actually in an interesting situation here, because we brought a lot of this toxicity into our own homes. in order to,
Yes.
in order
Yeah,
to, I
I
mean,
was.
I think I would have bought it like a de-icing machine if I could find one, right? I mean, it's, why not? Why not? I mean, doesn't that cure everything? I mean, like, acid. Can I just dip something in acid? I know, I'm exaggerating, but isn't it funny? I don't know how much we've even talked about this. We just brought in a whole, like, you know, hazmat worthy amount of chemicals into our homes, and we have exposed our children and ourselves to them on a rapid basis. I mean, is there any warnings on these things that says
Yes.
do not wipe a counter more than 3 times during the course of a day with this thing? Is anybody reading that? We are so fear driven by
No.
this virus that we're
Yes.
doing something. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I know you're eager to jump in here, but just hit me. We're bringing all these chemicals. We brought all these chemicals, and we pay top dollar for them.
Yes, and you might not have seen the post I posted earlier in the week. There's a funny meme. It says ads in the 2030s are going to be like, this was a quote, be like if you were overly exposed to astringents and hand washing devices and anti whatevers, during the coronavirus in 2020, you may be due for compensation. And so I
Like a
talked about
class action lawsuit, right?
yes, there is an accumulative effect.
We have secured medical bill payments for, our clients who have suffered from, I don't know, too much sanitizer
Sanitizer.
use,
Yes.
sanitizer toxicity.
I laugh, but it is a real thing. There's something called chemical
Speaking of which, I'm sorry,
sensitivity.
I need to use some right now.
There,
Okay.
oh no, you're kidding. So the overuse of those things can actually break down your immune system, just so you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
No, it's because you're right. I mean, but until I'm talking to you right now here on the show, it didn't click in my head. We are actually, because it's absolutely true. I mean, and you ask anybody who's been doing this for the last week or so, right? That hasn't done it before. Their hands are raw, right? They probably have like some reaction to something because you're literally stripping down the top layer, your epiderm of your skin, right? And exposing your bloodstream and everything to this stuff. I mean, are you wearing gloves when you're doing this, or are you just grabbing that little, Clorox pad and just wiping it, and you're doing this 5 times a day, so you've increased your exposure by 5
Exposure.
times? Yeah. So it's interesting. I think you're just going to be even more busy, to be honest with you, after this.
Well, and I'm not smiling because of that. I'm smiling because what you're talking about is something I've been preaching for years. Usually my clients are the ones that hear it because we go through, it's not just about detoxing the body, we detox the home. So we look at cleaning supplies, personal care products, right? How you cook, all of these things have an impact on the chemical buildup of your body. And it matters. I've converted my home to non-toxic cleaning supplies years gone by, and I take it for granted, but I forget how many people still use Clorox. They still use,
So what are you, so run us through some of the stuff that you're doing, because obviously you're also, sequestered. You're staying at home. We will get to the kids thing in a minute, but what are you doing to clean? I mean, I'm assuming you're not just raving mad going around the house cleaning every minute of the time. But what
no.
do you use, Eva? Like, what do you use? I mean, you obviously use certain things under normal conditions.
Yeah,
Run us through
same.
some of that.
And it's the same whether it's normal conditions or today, because for me it's still normal. We're always exposed to something. We're always exposed to a bacteria, always exposed to a virus. We're always exposed to a virus. Something is always around us, and I have such a confidence in my body's ability to fight it off that I'm not living in fear. And that fear is a mindset thing. I will get to answering your question, but that fear is what also lowers your immune system. So what do I use? I'm not a big name brand person, but I will say this. I've switched over my home to Norwex cleaning supplies.
Okay.
They're just cloths. They pick up 99% of the bacteria. You rinse them out, you wash them. You don't have to wash them in bleach. I mean, that would ruin them. But there are products that you can use to get rid of bacteria and viruses and other germs without going to bleach.
And
And
are these products that are available like in general stores? Is it something you have
Amazon.
to order? Oh, you
Yeah,
have to order them.
sure. Amazon has them. It's a multi-level marketing company, so you can find a local person. I don't sell it. I have somebody I go to. But
What is it called?
Norwex,
Norwex.
Norwex. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
great product line. I like it.
Have you done anything out of the ordinary after this to like increase your immunity or fortification or anything like that?
No, I'm on my own supplement program. So after testing my hair, I found out what I need. And when you give your body what it needs, you automatically are tuned into that immune system boost. For the purposes of those who I can't get to and aren't on a program right away, I created an immune booster pack. So that's a separate product that I'm offering.
And where can people find out about that, Eva?
Go to the elevateinstitute.com and click on shop. It's right there in the shop. That's it.
my attempt at a little Vanna there.
Why, thank you. Yeah. Good job.
So that's something you got going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And people can basically do it remotely.
Yes.
So what are you thinking in terms of not just the body, but what are you seeing in terms of the mental anguish that people are going through, the hardship that some people are going through?
There's a lot of conversations I've been having, both with my clients and others, with just contemporaries, people who are trying to work from home, and trying to figure this out. People who didn't realize that they were not a good match for their roommate are discovering that. Same thing. Yeah, same thing is true for difficulty. I saw this one viral video of a woman who got in her car and she was talking about, you guys have to figure out something because I can't stand these kids. It was her own children she was locked up with. People are going a little bit nuts. They've forgotten we used to live without TV, without the internet, without, having kids go to school. We used to teach our own kids. We used to be, the first response to teaching was the parents, and we've lost that intimate relationship there.
And all of a sudden we're thrown into that now, in
yeah,
space,
and without,
like on steroids.
And without the soft skills to get through it. So there's a lot of confusion, a lot of shock. Like I mentioned earlier, people are trying to find their feet. You have people losing their jobs, and there's this uncertainty that brings, of course, anxiety. And so I get a lot of the conversations in and around, well, what do I do about how I feel right now? Because I can't seem to make a decision. I can't get to a place where I feel comfortable in my own skin. And there are simple things to do, but if you've been constantly on the go, pushing yourself to get through the day and do your tasks throughout the day and not being in touch with your feelings, your emotions, your body, how you feel inside your body, if you're not used to that, there's a process for it. And your body's biochemically keeping you in this state of stress without you. And it's going to run on.
Which you need to basically deal with now, because in that state of stress, you are not in your best possible condition to navigate the crisis that's going on, all that comes with that, the ripple effects that will basically go beyond that siren all clear.
Yes.
And so again, I know we're almost out of time here, but let's tell people how they can get hold of you. The website's up on the wall, but is there any other way that they can find you, get hold of you?
So the easiest thing, of course, is to go on the website, and you can, if you're hearing some of these symptoms and you think, well, I don't know, I may have an out of balance or maybe out of alignment somewhere, but I'm not sure if I want to have a conversation yet. There's a 20-question questionnaire that you can answer right there on the elevateinstitute.com's homepage, and you can take that for free and just get a feel for what's going on with some recommendations. If you want to have a conversation, you're like, I need to talk to somebody right now, I offer a free 20 minutes, and you can reach me on my hotline, which is 408-800-7353.
That's amazing, Eva. Thank you. And I think a lot of people that are maybe feeling stressed out and they can't, we have a family around us and all this stuff, but, that may not be necessarily where you can go. So having another alternative to go to, a third party, if you will, that's going to maybe be there for you. You just heard it, everybody. 20 minutes. Call Eva. She gave you the number. Let's give the number again, Eva.
Sure. 800-7353.
And then check out elevateinstitute.com on the web. There's a lot of good resources in there. And you know what, Eva, I think we'll check in with you maybe like next week and so, because I think this is such a, moving story, and it's happening like in real time. So like tomorrow, 48 hours from now, we could be dealing with a completely different scenario, and we're subject to the sort of the will and decisions being made beyond us. So, who knows what Friday will bring, who knows what next Monday will bring. So whoever's out there and is listening to this, please reach out to Eva. She's very accessible. The website is right there on the wall. You can call her. You need to go back and listen to some of this podcast to get the number, and we'll put some information. I'm just, I get whatever I need to do to get people to listen, and don't feel like you have to go through this alone. It is an overwhelming situation that we are all dealing with, and we really, it sounds like a cliche, but we are in this together. And so please reach out. Don't internalize the stuff. You need to be in your best, most optimum condition right now to navigate this. Eva, thanks very much for being there with us today. I really appreciate you, my friend. You be safe, stay safe. If you want to send me a list of some of the things that are like, you said that you had done a podcast, like something about, how to clean your house, things of that nature, like sort of tips and do it yourselves. I'd be more than happy to share it on the website and on the Facebook page and get it out there to people. And again, thank you so much for basically spending the time with me this afternoon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.